Tonight, Papa-in-Chief rewrites Reagan, redeems radical jewelry, refunds himself $230 million, and keeps the government doors shut so holiness can run entirely on donations.
Sabbath scroll, we peddle faith, holy as hell.
Canada ran a 1-minute ad quoting Ronald Reagan. You know, the Republican saint before the current one. In that ad, Reagan said tariffs caused trade wars and job loss. Papa loved Reagan. So much he decided to do the exact opposite of him. Ontario used Reagan's own voice, and Papa called it fake. Technically, it was real audio, but wrong theology. In this gospel, free trade is sin, and tariffs are tithes. So, Papa tore up trade talks with Canada, because nothing says strength like losing an argument to a commercial. Reagan believed tariffs shrink markets. Papa believes they shrink enemies. Canada just happens to be both. France just lost $100 million in royal jewelry. Investigators fear the gems will be melted down and sold in pieces. It's tragic, really, turning priceless art into profitable parts. Experts call it theft. Papa calls it trickle-down aesthetics. But before we judge, let's remember, the thieves didn't hoard them. They redistributed them into smaller, more affordable blessings. It's the same model we use for healthcare. Melt it down until nobody can trace where it went. The government shutdown drags into holy overtime. Millions of federal workers unpaid. But praise be, a billionaire just donated $130 million to keep the military funded. So yes, your food stamp office is closed, your benefits frozen, and your hospital bills due. But rest easy knowing the soldiers arresting you are privately sponsored. Critics call it unconstitutional. Papa calls it outsourced providence. We used to have checks and balances. Now we have one giant check that balances everything. Why worry about healthcare premiums when a hedge fund hero just bought the Department of Defense, Department of War? This isn't democracy collapsing, it's democracy crowdfunding. Papa-in-Chief is demanding $230 million from his own Justice Department for investigating him. Yes, he's suing himself and may have to negotiate the payout with his own former lawyers. That's not corruption, that's efficiency. Why wait for checks and balances when you can just cut yourself a check and call it balanced? He says he'd give the money to charity. Of course, the charity of Trumpiel of Sodom Presidential Legal Defense Fund. And while victims of shootings get fractions of that amount, Papa just wants reimbursement for emotional distress and legal fees. Because being investigated for crimes you commit is now a workplace hazard. I know Reagan is watching from heaven, knowing he spent decades shrinking government, and Papa's literally finishing the job by cashing it out. So tonight we honor the holy evolution of conservatism, from Reagan's free trade to Papa's fee trade. I'm Pharisee Carlson, reminding you, tariffs are tithes, shutdowns are fasts, and justice, well, justice pays the plaintiff.
Holy as hell with at bay score.